Welcome. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family, and we're delighted that you welcomed us into your home, and you know that we would love to hear from you. So send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@EWTN.com. And today, we're welcoming back Michael and Maria Scaperlanda to our show, and they're visiting from the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City, where Michael serves as the chancellor. And they are helping to promote the cause of the canonization for Blessed Stanley Rother. Now, you can go out to the website. This is important, rotherdoc.com. And the DOC stands for documentary. So it's rotherdoc.com. And there's a trailer there. You can click on it, watch the trailer to the movie, which we're going to be talking about in this show. You want to see it. It's very heartwarming, and you want to see it. You want to know the beauty of his life. You want to know the beauty of his heart as a priest, and his love for the people and the shepherd that he was. And he was a good, holy servant son of the church. Yes. And we're grateful for his witness here on earth and in heaven.
Amen. He was declared servant of God, venerable, blessed now. And hopefully he's going to go through the canonization process, be recognized as a saint throughout the whole world. American Martyr, the Stanley Rother story. That's a full-length film, right? Martin Sheen does the kind of commentary on it, reads things through. Something for the whole family. It's August 24th. Is it the 24th? 25th, 26th.
And then in Spanish.
27th. So 25th is coming up. But just go to rotherdoc.com, rotherdoc.com, and you'll learn the whole story of Father Stan, and you'll be all tuned in with the film. This is something that the whole family should go to. And you want to be encouraged. You want to say, well, I want my children to be faithful. I don't want them to wander from the faith. Well, get them to know Father Stanley, who's not dead, he's alive. I mean, he's dead, but he's alive. And he's a blessed. And people in Oklahoma there really get that and are intimate with him, asking favors from him. You can join in with that. So this is a great opportunity for the church, to be the church, and make petition of Father Stanley. Maybe you're a mom, you're a dad. I want my kids to go all the way with being a Catholic. I want them to be strong, I want them to be courageous, and to stand, especially for the poor and for the needy. So this is a great opportunity. But we'd like to take a moment to remind you that EWTN is only made possible through the generosity of viewers like you. If EWTN has strengthened your faith or blessed your family, we humbly ask you to prayerfully consider making a financial gift to EWTNmission.com. so we can continue to bring Christ's message to the world. As Mother Angelica used to say, please keep us between your gas and electric bill. We can't do this without you. This EWTN comes to you by you. So you can go to EWTNmission.com to donate. And thank you for all of you that have given over the years to this great work. You're an important part of this EWTN family and sharing the gospel with the world, the whole world. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. We are at home with Jim and Joy, and our guests today are Michael and Maria Scaperlanda, who is going to be promoting the cause in the canonization for Blessed Stanley Rother. You could go out to the website. We're excited that you go out there because they're promoting a movie that we're going to be talking about. It's American Martyr, the Stanley Rother story. So it's rotherdoc.com.
August 25th, 26th. So go to the website, see where it's playing in your community, and the 27th in Spanish.
Yes.
So we really want to support this. It's not like you're doing anybody a favor. They're doing you a favor by letting you know Father Stanley and to be intimate with him. You can also go to archokc.org/Rother cause. archokc.org/Rother cause, the cause of Father Rother. And so this isn't completed yet. We want him declared a saint throughout the entire world. And the church, in a sense, they say the church makes saints, but in a sense they don't. You know, he's a saint, and they recognize that he's a saint, and they're saying, we're telling you as far as everything we can say, he is a saint. And we're stating this to you. Yeah.
Well, tell our family a little bit about Blessed Stan, as you call him, and recap. So then the next thing we want to do is talk about the movie and the documentary that is so well done. So tell us about where he is, who he was, and where it is right now.
On the shrine, yeah.
Stanley Rother was born during a dust storm, and during the Dust Bowl in 1935. He's the oldest of 4 children to a devout German-American Catholic family from Okarche, Oklahoma. Grew up involved in FAA and Future Farmers, FFA, Future Farmers of America. Everybody thought he was going to become a farmer. On the same night, his senior year of high school and his sister's junior year, he announced he was going to the seminary, and his sister announced she was becoming a nun.
Wow.
Right.
What a family.
So 2 kids leaving.
Ordained in 63?
He was ordained in 63, but it took him a long time. He failed Latin. He was kicked out of his first seminary.
Is it okay for you to tell that?
Yes. So,
That's an important part.
That's part of his holiness, though,
part of his
right?
holiness.
It's not
Absolutely.
perfection, right?
His rector said, Stanley, there's a lot of ways to honor God and serve God, and the priesthood's not for you.
Oh my gosh.
But the bishop disagreed and sent him to Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, Maryland, where he persisted and became a priest in 63. And in 1968, he joined the Oklahoma City Mission in Guatemala, where he served until he was martyred on July 28th of 81. What's fascinating about him is that there are people that knew him that are still around. But anyway, you go ahead and add.
No, what I was going to add to that is simply the connection. Okarche, Oklahoma, northwest of Oklahoma City, the center of the, what do they call it? The breadbasket of America.
Wheat, yeah.
And Santiago Atitlan on the shores of a volcanic lake. Yet the center of Father Stan, where he got his values, faith, family, and farming. And when he got to Santiago Atitlan, those are exactly the things that he could do with them and connect with them. They are farmers, and he was really discussing with them anything about how to farm better and all of that, but helping them to have their own farming co-op instead of going to work for somebody else, like to help them out of poverty. So farming, family, they're centered on family, and they're centered on that big church in the middle of town. And only God can see that those things connect. I mean, here's a gringo from Okarche, Oklahoma, who has become one with the Zutu-Hill Mayans there.
But it was a perfect marriage.
It's beautiful.
And even in his seminary discerning, the bishop discerned that this man had a heart to be a pastor. So he wasn't going to be a theological professor, and he wasn't going to teach philosophy, but he discerned his heart. And he sent him to Mount St. Mary and said, give him a second look. And there he excelled, and he did well, right?
Yeah.
And then when he went into placement to who he really was, he was the heart of a priest. He was the heart of a servant. He was the heart of a shepherd to the people, and they adored him.
Yes.
Share with us more about the movie, because it's coming up. 25th, 26th, right? Trying to get that right. And the 27th. There's not much time. They need to go to the website, rotherdoc.com. The whole churches should go. Families should go. Homeschool moms and dad, take your kids. Everybody just be a part of this to see something so beautiful visually. You wrote the book, The Shepherd That Didn't Run. Is that, am I saying it right? Shepherd That Didn't Run. Why do we need a movie if we got the book?
Because I think we need any possible instrument that will just help us get his story out. Like I said, being from a small town in the middle of the country, it's not quite, you know, the East Coast, West Coast importance. So we want to make sure that we do our part in getting his name, his story, and why we think that he is and will be declared a saint.
And the story's resonating. When we first started talking about this, the people that we were at Carmel Communications that we were consulting with said, we can probably get this in maybe 600 or 700 theaters around the country. It's going to be in over 1,000 theaters.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So the theaters are really being attracted to this, and pre-sales are going well. So it's an exciting opportunity. We mentioned that Martin Sheen is narrating the English. Father Capot, I think that's how you say his name, narrated the Spanish.
Rafael Capot.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So then I guess after the movie's done, that it'll be available in CD or video of some kind.
Yeah, we haven't got that far, but Fathom Entertainment has the license for a period of time. Then I think we'll go to licensing. We've already had several schools, parishes want to license the movie, and so we'll do that. And then I think the next step after that would be some streaming services.
What are the sequences in the movie? I mean, how early back do we go? Is it to his youth, his family? Or does it just go right into the conflict there in Guatemala, the Civil War? What are we seeing?
I think one of the gifts of the movie is that not many of us are going to be able to go to Okarchi, Oklahoma, and Santiago Atitlan. So you have these filmmakers who bring it home to you. Putting the setting, the cinematography of the documentary is just gorgeous. And being able to see those wheat fields of Okarchi, you get the sense of the man of the land and why he was, how he was, and where he became himself. And then he goes to Santiago Atitlan, and we get to see the people who knew him, the place as he knew it. Not much has changed there. People still speak Zutuhel is the main language.
Yeah, and I would add to that we have a 20-minute documentary that we did for the beatification, and the beauty of this feature-length documentary is it does delve into who he was. Who is this man who said yes? He's on a death list. He comes home to Oklahoma at the request of both his parishioners for his safety and also people in Oklahoma. And he ultimately decides to go back, and he said, I promised my people I'd be home for Holy Week. And he was, knowing that he was on a death list. So what led up to him being able to say yes to what God was calling? And so the film really kind of can delve into that background of his character and the community in which his character was formed.
And in a very real way, I think Father Stan tells his own story in the documentary. There's a lot that is said from his letters home and to family, but also to the Catholics in Oklahoma who are sponsoring the mission. So we want everyone to be able to connect with him, but if you just even watch it, I don't have to convince you. You will be convinced. Like you said, this is a gift to the people in the U.S. Get to know this man, because he is our gift, and we should be claiming him as a great example. I won't be going to Santiago Atitlan, and many of us will never have to face martyrdom the way he did. But my holy path to sainthood is in my own details of my everyday life. And Father Stan lives that in little ways and big ways. I'm convinced that his martyrdom was simply one more step on that giving of his whole heart to the people and to being the right and the best priest that he could be. So that's an example for me. That touches me very deeply.
Right. It's like he didn't become something else.
Right.
He just
exactly.
was what he was. He was born and raised in the farm. He was an altar boy. His parents poured their faith into him. He caught the faith, the sister caught the faith. And then wasn't it true that he and his sister were simultaneously discerning, but never told each other?
Never told each
other.
Right.
Isn't that something?
Well, but when you think about it, they're German Catholics, and Germans
Right,
don't.
I know those Germans. They don't
say a whole.
talk.
They don't say a whole lot.
No, they hold
Yeah.
their cards close.
They hold, yes.
Yeah. That's
which-
why I didn't marry a German.
Yeah. But it's one of the amazing transformations, because his diary when he's in seminary is, the weather was 68 degrees today and it was
Right.
overcast. That's the extent of what he's writing.
Always the weather.
But his letters home from Guatemala are very intimate, and they show that the devolving situation and the danger that's coming in a very real way. And that had to not have been natural to him to write in such detail.
What a gift of courage
Yes.
God had given him after he sent him back. Right?
Yes.
What a great gift of courage.
No greater love is there than
Yeah.
this, than a man lays down his life for his friends. So he emulated that in the Lord, and a good shepherd stays with the sheep. A poor shepherd sees the wolf coming and he flees.
Yeah.
And if, I mean, it has to be supernatural in him, but a man who deals with his death, and evidently he dealt with his death before his death happened, is a dangerous man.
Right.
Because you can't induce him to something else, you can't buy him out, and evidently his opposition knew this. And so
No,
much
that's
of
right.
it. But the seed did go into the ground, and it's blossoming in Guatemala, Oklahoma, all over the country, and now it will go throughout the whole world. What in particular, was there any particular scenes there that really moved you? You have witnesses from people that from Guatemala. Were there any family that spoke or other people that spoke? Who stood out to you? What were they trying to share that they wanted you to know, us to know?
I was surprised by the one that got to me. It's one of his catechists. And first he describes how Father Stan brought the faith to him, brought the Gospels alive to him, and how much it affected him to be asked to be trained to go out and share that faith with others. And so here he is, after all these years, 45 years, describing how this affected Santiago Titlan, his church, and him. And he said, our lives will never be the same. I think of him every day. And I thought, wow, after all this time, it is still so tangible to this man. And that is the gift of a saint, I think. That when you're with them, it kind of rubs on you, right?
And we hear that term, missionary disciple. So this guy is sharing, I came into a greater intimacy. I'm a disciple of the Lord, but I understood I had to become a missionary. So I want to catechize people. I want them to know. I want them to come into this intimacy. I want them to know what the church teaches. And that's beautiful when you get to lead someone to the Lord that understands it's not just about you now. You have to make disciples that make disciples that make disciples that make disciples. That guy got that.
And he was a disciple. One story that's told in the movie that stands out to me is this couple brought a child to him one night, and they said, Father, we had twins, and we can't afford both of them. And he took the child. And until he found a family to take care of him. He got up at night with the child, fed the child, changed the child's diaper, and that just shows.
You're the oldest of 5. You got that.
Exactly.
You had home training.
That's exactly.
We're going to take a break at this point. Hold you over for the final segment. Just be thinking and praying about what in particular you'd want to share with the EWTN family.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. There's plenty more to come. Please don't go away. Welcome back. We're wrapping up our conversation with Michael and Maria Scaperlanda. So we just have a few minutes left, and you're so intimately yoked with Blessed Stanley Rother. So what would you want our family to know as you conclude this time?
For me, it's a threefold invitation. One, go see the movie, August 25th, 26th in English, 27th in Spanish. Bring your friends, get youth groups to go, buy out these theaters, spread the news about Stanley Rother. Amen. Second, come to Oklahoma City. Come to our beautiful 2,000-seat shrine dedicated to Blessed Stanley Rother. Make a pilgrimage to Oklahoma City. It's right in the crossroads of America, right at I-40 and I-35.
It's a special place.
And then third, pray for Stanley Rother's intercession.
Who doesn't need a miracle, right?
We all need miracles. And one of these might be the miracle that gets him canonized.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Your thoughts as we close out?
I have been honored to bring Stanley to life in my own life by writing the book and by participating in this film, and now by being the promoter of the cause for the Archdiocese. And I have been changed forever. I guess that's why the catechist touched me so. But I want people to experience that. He is a saint for our time. And we need saints. We need them to be contemporary. We need them to be local.
We need to be ordinary.
Yes, and ordinary like him.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For continuing to promote the life and legacy of Father Stanley. May it be the Lord's will for his canonization all over this world. May he hasten that coming.
Well,
thank you. You're always welcome here.
Thank you for having us.
I love having you.
Yeah, thank you
so
Thank
very
you.
much.
It's been a joy.
Very much. We've got about a minute left. I want to read the prayer that they ask us to pray for favors from Father Stanley. Blessed Stanley, our brother, you poured out your life in service and spilled your blood as a witness to the faithfulness of God's love. Those you loved so deeply and served so completely knew you to be their pastor and their priest, interceding for them as their open door to the presence of Christ. Pray for us now and intercede on our behalf as we ask you to walk with us on our journey through life, that the redeeming presence of Jesus might touch us now and restore us to wholeness and peace. And there's more through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Ask for Father Stanley's intercession on your behalf. What a gift God's given us, Father Stanley. We're all together in this. You're an important part of the EWTN family. You're never alone. You're always at home with Jim and Joy. Life, marriage, and the family will prevail. Bye now.